Okay, excellent. We are live on YouTube. Thank you to everybody who is joining us and watching and listening. We really appreciate your engagement. Tonight is going to be a quick meeting, just a half an hour, and it might be shorter than that. Our town board liaison, Andrea, had a prior commitment tonight that she was not 100% sure she was going to be able to get out of. So we'll see. But again, thanks to everybody for being here. Thanks to the committee members. I will jump right in and move to approve the minutes from our meeting held on March 29th, as submitted to everyone via email. Can I get a second, John? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Thank you. Excellent. Okay, so quick first topic just to get out of the way before we get to the exciting news. Update on grants. I have been in touch with Dottie, who is the chair of the grants committee, and we've agreed to keep each other in the loop about grants that we're finding, pursuing, et cetera, just to keep communication open and make sure no one is duplicating any work. And the consultant will be leading grants that we will be applying for in 2022. And unless anybody has any questions on that.
No, I think we should just be careful, make sure that one of the outcomes out of this is that the grant committee learns how to do this from the.
Good point, John. Good point.
Yeah.
I sent a note to Rich Scaleran, who I guess proposed the grant committee, and that would be one of the better outcomes if we learn how to do grants.
Yep, the town does at large. Yeah. How to succeed at grants for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
When I was a teacher, our school district had a guy, they just signed a teacher to grants and he got millions of dollars for the school just because he learned how to do it.
Is he still working?
No, in an idiotic move, they decided to cut him back and stop doing it.
Yep.
It certainly seems like it's an art. Good point. So we'll make sure to try to involve the consultant in training them up and, passing along the lessons and the tricks of the trade that we learned for sure. Unless any other questions on that. So perfect transition. The consultant will be helping with grants. The consultant will be Nelson Pope Voorhees. At last night's town board meeting, the board unanimously approved the proposal that they submitted and our recommendation to hire them as the consultant for the project. So congratulations to Nelson Pope Voorhees, to Valerie and the team that we'll be working with. And in case you're listening, thank you to the other respondents. Everybody was fantastic, and we feel really lucky we had such a great group.
Whoops.
Did you kick Katie off?
No, there was a glitch though, because I was trying to unmute and turn my video on for a few minutes there, and it finally worked. And then when I got on, she got off. So maybe I did kick her off.
I didn't think that was possible, but you never know with Zoom.
Is she the host? Do we have to restart? Or
I'm
well-
the host, but I made her a co-host. And we'll just wait for her to log back in.
okay.
Hey, this is Lewisboro. It's raining. She probably lost power.
Ah,
Very true. Very true.
so, Larry. Okay. So is Nelson Pope, have they been notified?
From Katie, she said she wanted to talk to all of us, but she said yes.
Oh, great.
And they're very anxious to get ready.
Great. Yeah, there's a little debate about the amount of money, but it looks like we came through with, well, whatever, up to that top dollar.
Yeah, that's fine because they also let out how much they really have.
Right.
They have $500,000. So.
Well, this is
But-
just phase one, right?
One thing, I think Katie's.
Sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
We think
Mark-
that
Mark
we-
kicked
Mark
you
kicked
off.
you off.
No, I don't think so. My computer like just crashed. So it wasn't Zoom, it was my computer. Whew. What I miss?
Nothing, we were waiting for you.
Okay. Yeah, so the good news about MPV. So what's going to happen there is that I am coordinating between Valerie and the town. And Valerie will be updating the proposal and doing a draft of the contract and sharing that with the supervisor and the town attorneys. And what basically is going to happen is that Valerie is going to update the proposal in the way that we suggested in our let's see, our recommendations document. So I'm just going to share that quickly. So we had suggested that breaking down some of the town committee meetings and the land board use meetings so that the projected cost would be between 152 and 156. So she's going to update the proposal to reflect that, but then structure in it in a, it'll probably between this range, but it is not to exceed 163,000 so that there is some room for contingency. So I just wanted to make sure that sounds good to everybody. And there were no objections to that.
Katie?
Mhm.
I'm going to bring up the subject that I brought up earlier, and that's I hope that Judd gets to review the contract because he's familiar with these contracts. And I'm not sure if Greg has that particular background.
Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna when I talk to Tony about that, I'll request that both Judd and Greg review.
Yeah, because Judd would review it and then Greg would prove it as to form so it could be passed by the town board.
Right. Perfect. Okay. We're all good with that plan in terms of the pricing?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And I think that'll make everybody happy if it can end up coming in lower than 163, that would be great. Okay, so back to this document. The town supervisor, Tony, is coordinating on the other next steps that were outlined in our document with regard to the planning board attorney being involved in future stages of the project and with our update to the board that will happen in either May or June. I'll come back to that in a sec. But just a note about scheduling. So Valerie isn't able to do Tuesday nights on a regular basis. So we'll have to, we're going to have the kickoff meeting and we'll discuss scheduling and when recurring monthly meetings and things like that will be happening. But I just wanted to kind of get a sense from the group. In general, how would the third Monday or the third Thursday of the month be for a reoccurring meeting instead of the Tuesday like we've been doing?
Mondays would be okay with me. Thursdays.
I'm good on Monday for yeah, as long as it's the third one, yeah.
Okay, Mark and Larry.
Yeah, Mondays are better than
Oh, okay.
Thursdays.
Yeah, me too.
Larry?
I'm open generally.
Okay. Okay. So I did I hear that right? Everybody's good with Monday. The third Monday would be good. Okay. Perfect. Winner. That works great for Valerie too. Okay. And so in assuming that we're able to have our kickoff meeting, we're in May, then we will aim to do either the last board meeting in May or the first board meeting in June. I can zoom in and just give the board a full update on what we discussed during the kickoff meeting, make sure they're on board with everything and that they're comfortable with the project timeline and the project goals and, you know, all the kind of nitty gritty that we'll be going into. But other than those steps, I think we are going to be off and running soon. And anybody have any questions about coordinating next steps or these points that we've touched on?
So will Nelson Voorhees be at our next meeting?
We're going to have a kickoff meeting with them before we have the next public meeting. So I think our scheduling is kind of up in the air for now.
I think that makes sense.
The third Monday, so the third Monday in May could potentially be our next meeting. But I'll communicate with you guys about that via email. Andrea is not here, right? Okay, just making sure I'm not taking her time. Yeah, so keep an eye on your emails and we will figure out scheduling going forward. But it's good to know your availability. Yeah, we'll be meeting with them soon. Any other questions?
No.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so Andrea, I believe is not able to make it at this point. And for those of you that joined us a few minutes late, she had a prior commitment tonight that she wasn't sure she'd be able to get out of at the last minute. So, okay, so open action items. We're gonna hold off. Mark, I think you can hold off on doing further work on the Greenway grant, and we will discuss that with Valerie and the team when we have our kickoff meeting with them to figure out how we're gonna approach that going forward.
Okay.
And same with the CFA grant. We'll talk to her about that in the kickoff meeting too.
The CFA grants are due in, I think, July.
Yeah.
So it might be a short runway for this year.
Yeah.
September
Katie?
6th is our current deadline, September 6th.
For the Greenway one. Okay, yeah. So we'll talk to her about that and see what we can get going.
Katie, can we think about priorities for our kickoff meeting?
Sure. Yeah, right now you mean, because we have some time.
If you want to, but I haven't thought about it, but
Okay.
you know, I think we all should sort of think about whatever priorities and maybe do an email
Sure.
with each other, you know, group email to see, because, you know, there's certain things that I think we've all learned that's not going to change a hell of a lot. But there's certain things that can really be looked at more closely,
Yeah.
like energy or sustainability,
Mm-hmm.
you know, charging stations, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going, you know, what we're going to require. I mean, we have all kinds of wetland issues, but I think we also should maybe think about what we can do with incentives for, you know, energy saving things.
I don't know whether it was in the RFP, but my recent activities on the tree ordinance makes me want to think about enforcement
Oh, right, John, yeah.
because I'm coming up empty on that.
Okay. Priorities for kickoff meetings. Yeah, and I mean, what that will probably translate into is Valerie and her team telling us, okay, cool. So these are the things you want to find out about. You want to find out if the town is interested in this, and if there's a majority of people that support something like this. These are the kind of questions we can ask. This is the kind of activity we can do. Like,
right, and say that these we're all going to come up with different areas of interest, and I think that that's really our job. And they can sort of and would say, well, you know, can we explore these things and talk about various issues like how much change can there really be considering the amount of wetlands we have.
Yeah, well, and I think we probably want to revisit our vision a little bit and
Yes, yes.
you know, I think behind all of this is we want to make this a better place to live. And there's a lot of varied views on what that means.
But that's what we have to find out. But that's why I think it would be more productive if we came in with, you know, a bunch of ideas that we kicked around already.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think my goals for the meeting will be surprise, very administrative, like what's the schedule? What are the steps? Like when are we meeting with the consultant to discuss administration versus when are we meeting publicly versus when are the public visioning meetings, and you know, like that kind of like, what does this project actually look like on a step-by-step
Maybe
basis?
that's the beauty of this group. We all have different
Yeah, I mean,
strong points.
Yeah.
it was key in the board, you know, getting as much public interaction as possible was, I think, a big selling point for what we did
Yeah.
for MPV, and that's going to be, I think, a key part of the plan is how to make sure we get cast a wide net for opinions and views and things.
Right. And yet rein those wide net opinions and views into something that's workable.
Yes, yes, up to you.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we should absolutely kick this around via email, and then we can just share it with Valerie. I mean, that I'm very, very excited to be able to hand off. I'll have to discuss it with her, but I get the impression that going forward, she'll be putting together the agenda for the
Oh, of
meeting.
course. Yeah, that's their.
Yeah. And then they'll share it with us and we'll be able to say, oh, you missed this. We'd like to talk about this too. And because she's done this a million times, she knows what you have to talk about in the kickoff meeting to make it productive.
Right. But it's really within our bailiwick, you know, because that's what they're going to want. They're going to say, what do we think?
Right.
And instead of having it a rambling, you know, maybe even if we kick it around and have a brief meeting on a day that's not public, it's just amongst us. You know, I think that would be sort of helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. And we have the survey too. So we can kind of peek at that again and refresh our memory about what the responses to that were. And she has the results from that too. And it's public on our website for anyone that's listening. Right. So that's helpful too, that we already have that insight into what the large group of people that responded to that think. Yeah.
Katie, I'm wondering if you might want to just ask Valerie if her team wants the raw data from the survey also, so that I don't know what their data analysis capabilities are, but it's certainly better than whatever we can offer. So they might be able to make some sense out of some of those.
Well, at a minimum, they can compare it to, I'm sure they've seen a bunch of these surveys, so they can compare it to some other towns and surveys and such, draw some conclusions out of that.
Sure. Okay. Broad data. Okay. So let me, how does everybody feel about, would kicking around ideas via email be okay for everybody, or would you prefer to schedule a quick check-in meeting before the kickoff? Email, raise your hand.
I think both, actually.
Yeah.
Both. Okay.
I think we should start with the email.
Yeah.
Okay.
See how it coalesces, and then.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. All right. Sounds good. Then let's do that. We can kick that off this week, and it'll be the contracts won't be finalized and signed for at least this week anyway. So we have a little time to sit before we can schedule the kickoff meeting anyway.
Yeah, and they're going to be fine with it if it takes a little longer too, because now that they've been picked, the contract is just a formality.
Yeah. Okay.
You haven't major terms.
Great. Well, I'm very excited, everybody. Thanks again for all the work that you've all put in, and thank you to Kirsten. it's Administrator Appreciation Day soon. So yay, Kirsten, we appreciate you.
Hard to
Yes,
believe it.
yeah.
I guess we've been at it just about a year.
Yeah, little over,
Wow.
yeah, longer than a year at this point. And I think we have to show for it an accepted proposal, and we're going to be moving forward. I'm really excited. Good stuff, you guys. Good teamwork. Okay, well, I know we're a little early.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and Andrea and she's been reaching out and asking questions, and we've got the dialogue lines open, and we definitely want to make sure that we keep including the board and get them, make sure we're all on the same page. So we're well on our way to that, and yeah, all is going smoothly. So watch your emails, and we'll be in communication that way, and we'll schedule the coming meetings soon, and then we'll go from there.
Terrific.
Okay, thank you so
Good
much.
job. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
Motion to
Bye-bye.
adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Who made a motion? Who seconded?
Oh, right. I motioned.
Second.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Yes, honest. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, everybody. Have a great night.
You too.
Yeah.